Hello, welcome to another video from Avenue X looking at Chinese drama land in the past week. And since the past week was the biggest off week of China, we have basically almost no news going on regarding specific dramas. Although there are definitely some epic things that's going on in Chinese drama land. We're gonna briefly talk about only a few things that's related to drama and film, and then if you recognize what I'm humming, you kind of already are deep in the whole ology thing. But if not, you'll find out soon. There's a weird thing that happened in Chinese cinema during the Spring Festival Chinese New Year slot, which is one of the films that are basically for this slot. After 5 days of staying in cinema, announced that they're quitting Chinese Spring Festival slot. They almost occupied the first week already and decided to quit, and that is the Han Yan directed 我们一起要太阳 Viva la Vida film about two young people with terminal disease led by Peng Yuchang and Li Gengxi. But on the 5th day, they came out with this announcement saying, we're quitting and we're coming back in March for the second round. Previously, there were films that got pulled off like right after the first day or immediately before it went into cinema release, but something that's been in cinema for 5 days already and somehow still get pulled off and then telling you that they're coming back later, it's weird. Maybe they think that way they can get more box office or whatever. That aside, during this week, we did have a bit news. Yesterday, a drama has started production. It's a 16-episode crime drama that's led by Guo Jingfei, Wang Qianyuan, Zhao Jinmai. And they have started shooting in Harbin. It's already being caught by paparazzi on set. Although this drama hasn't officially announced casting or any information, but it's already on the move. Its title right now is 漂白, literally meaning bleach. It just happens to be the snowstorm has also kind of just finished, and I didn't keep watching the drama, but I do know what happened later, and it's just like good decision I made to quit this drama early on, because later the plot, particularly when it got to the pregnancy part, was like, oh my god. I'm just happy that I didn't continue watching. These are specific drama and film related news. So now let's get to although it's not about a drama or a film, but it's so big on China's internet, and that is the Shang, Chun, Shan, climbing up the spring mountain. This is the title of a song that got performed first time on the stage of CCTV, China Central Television's Chinese New Year's Eve Spring Festival Gala show, which is a very long history show that started back in 1980s. This year technically should be counted as the 41st. Back then, it was just out of Cultural Revolution a couple of years, and the overall atmosphere in the society back then was very stern. People are not encouraged to basically do light-hearted entertainment. Starting from 83, when CCTV put out this gala show on Chinese New Year's Eve, it very quickly became a national event for people back then. And year after year, it got better, it got more interesting. It introduces people to new forms of entertainment. It literally created comedy performances such as Xiaoping, first by those actors such as Chen Peisi, Zhu Shimao, and later passed down to one of the most famous comedians still working today, although very old, such as Zhao Shan. So this is a long history of Chun, Spring Festival evening, like the shortened version in Chinese, that has become culturally like an embedded thing. 4 hours variety show. It combines all types of performance, comedy, singing, dancing, traditional opera, anything that you can or cannot imagine, like magic show or acrobatics, it's all just mixed in. And it happens on Chuxi, which is the last day of a year. Pretty much after early 2000s, the importance and influence of this show has declined quite rapidly. The show itself becomes less and less interesting. People have more ways to entertain themselves. Also that you have internet, and you have constant load of all kinds of entertainment that you don't really need this, and people tend to be actually faster, catching up with what's popular in the world and also in China, faster than the CCTV television station can do. So the show that was once ahead of everybody fell very much behind. And particularly in the last, say, 10 years, it really has declined so much that it starts to become a joke. A lot of people still sit in front of the television to wait for the show to come on that day, but just to laugh at it. and see how ridiculous it has become. So those are the background information you should know about CCTV's Spring Festival Chinese New Year's Eve gala show that is still extremely important in Chinese culture and almost considered as the most prestigious, highest publicity, most important stage that happens once a year in China. Nothing compares to this. This is still the most heavyweight one, without a doubt. Having all those put down, let's talk about what happened with climbing up the Spring Mountain. This year's show, among the 4 hours and a half long show, there's this one snippet of a song that's about 2 minute half, and it's performed by 3 pretty popular young actor-singers, including Bai Jingting, Wei Daxun, Wei Chen. My channel viewers, there's no way you don't know about them, right? Bai Jingting from 青青日常, Reset, 开端, recent couple of years, quite a few very popular dramas. Wei Daxun, last year, Fireworks in My Heart, the guest star that stole the show. Then Wei Chen, although he's not that hot and popular, he's been around for years. He's best known as a very good singer who came out of a singing competition show, but he's also in a lot of films and televisions actually. I've said this multiple times on my channel. I was so impressed by his acting in last year's Disappearing Child, and he's somebody on my watch for future performance. So all 3 guys, pretty popular and similar age and even exact same height, they got picked for performing this song that's newly written by a songwriter from Guizhou, and it's written for the province. It's a very pretty song, perfect energy for Spring Festival, called Climbing Up the Spring Mountain. When this thing was performed live on television on the night, not really much was talked about it. It does look like it had a little bit hiccup, but not significant enough. Nobody really paid that much attention. But about 2 days after that, it started to ferment on internet and suddenly exploded across all social media platforms. On Weibo, on Bilibili, everything flooded the trending hashtags world. Within 3 days, a new form of ology was created in Chinese internet language called Chun Shan, literally means spring mountain-ology. Because so many people rushed in to analyze this performance and what went wrong and what could have happened. Because this thing, by this point I'm making this video, has gone through about 5-6 days of development on internet, and it has seen so many twists and turns about what is real, what is not real, what happened, what really not happened. Different people arguing about what the heck happened. It's impossible for me to go through it here, one step by one step for you. It's gonna take 2 hours. To condense this thing down very shortly, basically, during the singing performance, it seems Bai Jingting made some either intentional or unintentional blunders. Depending on how you look at it, it could be interpreted as really big or really small. The 2 most discussed angle about what he might have done wrong. One is his choreography through the whole song, where he stands at the beginning, at what point he should be walking down, going what direction, and when he got down on the stage, like where he should be standing during his whole performance. One thing is about this whole line of movement and when he should be doing what, and people suspect what he intentionally didn't do, probably what the stage director planned and caused actually some kind of problem on stage. The other thing is about his costume, which supposedly during rehearsals it's all light colored, very light gray or white, but on the actual live performance it turned to all black. The argument about this whole thing online is whether he changed it intentionally without informing the directors, or informing the directors but with excuses that it cannot be changed back, and it causes imbalance on screen. Because when you look at this whole show, everybody is in very light color, green, white. It's Spring Mountain. The other 2 guys are also in white. He is the only person in total black, and it just looks odd on stage. Anyway, so these are the 2 things that people argued about. Whether he intentionally did it to stand out, also to take the C position, the center position. Now, for people outside of China, it might be very hard for you to sort of gauge because you don't have similar things in your country, this type of performance. And so what, if he makes a mistake. But Spring Festival Gala Show on CCTV is a lot more than just a show. It has been laden with meanings, politically also, and its importance to the whole nation, and it's still the most watched simultaneously stage that can happen in China. And most of the artists, whether you're a singer, dancer, any type of performer, would think of CCTV's Spring Festival Gala Show stage as the highest stage you could possibly get to in China. The most publicity heavy one you will ever get to. If you manage to get there, you kind of made it. Although these years it has declined in popularity quite a lot, it still is bigger than the other ones. And it's very unthinkable to make mistakes on the stage, although every year something happens, right? So that adds like the weight of if you make any clear mistakes, whether intentional or unintentional, it could impact things. You may not think this is huge, but it did get huge. It was on every platform. It monopolized all trending hashtags. If you search any video platform in China, there are so many hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of videos that got made analyzing this. So why it became Mountain-ology is because within 5 days, 4 days, people have created a science of this whole thing. And they analyzed this 2-minute stage from angles you will never imagine. And it became almost like a nationally joined-in effort of having fun, because everybody is on holiday and they have nothing to do. Remember a couple of years ago when the actor Zhao Jinmai, because of his academic plagiarism and all that, completely got cancelled in China. It also happened right during Chinese Spring Festival because there were too many people who are just like not doing any work, not studying, just sitting at home, scrolling on their phone and internet and have nothing to do. Therefore, they have too much time on their hand. Therefore, they analyze the shit out of the situation and it destroyed him. This is similar because everybody is on holiday. So they went for it. The most basic level is look at the stage performance from stage director's point of view, what's wrong with the whole performance, and guessing what happened and why it happened and what's wrong with it. Then you have people actually integrating AI of live reading facial expression, constantly giving you a possibility of in a second, is he happy, scared, angry, embarrassed? And after they perform, they also get interviewed by CCTV television hosts and also Shan. And during those 2 interviews, they also analyze their facial expression and read between the lines whether this is an intentional blunder that actually is completely understood by all the people working behind the stage and they're just so sarcastically and or bluntly pointing out Bai Jinting's fault. You have people using statistics, mathematics, to analyze the possibilities of whether he is intentional or not intentional and arriving at a conclusion from a totally mathematical point of view. You also have people utilizing Chinese fortune-telling skills, analyzing the title of the song, why the song's title has problem and why climbing up the mountain becomes a problem for people. They look at astrology chart. They utilize tarot reading to see what really happened behind the stage and what was going on. Psychology, micro expression reading, light detecting, like all that very quickly snowballed into Spring Mountain-ology. I personally don't really care about like whether somebody did it intentionally or not or for what purpose. To me, Bai Jinting is just one of many actors in Chinese drama land. He's had couple of very successful dramas in recent years, but if you want to compare him to the whole panel of actors who are similar to his age and whatever, like type, being an actor, I wouldn't say he stand out too much for me, and I know almost nothing about him before he came into Dramaland. So I was like totally just sitting on the side and eating the melon. My conclusion would be, first, for all the Chinese people, they should learn from this is like, don't try to make wave during Chinese New Year's holiday. Particularly if you're a public figure, right? And you're seen. During that time, stay low-key as possible. Hide yourself. Because if you happen to step out of the line in any way, right? 1.4 billion of people are on holiday and they all have internet. Imagine what can happen to you. My prediction of how it's going to affect people who have taken part in this, right? 魏大勋 and Wei Chen probably will be fine because they really aren't in any type of trouble. If not, they probably are sort of in the good with CCTV because overall they managed to keep the show looking okay. Only when you overanalyze, you see there's problems and a lot of problems, and they survived it and it didn't really create a huge problem, while during the live stream like a huge mistake happens and it cannot be unseen. That will be bad. They managed to just like stabilize this whole show for the 2 minutes. As for Bai Jinting, my guess, okay, this is totally my guess, would be actually it's not going to affect that much of his future plans of doing whatever he's doing right now, whether it's his own brand of clothing, which is recently in a little bit trouble, but it's gonna blow over and move on. In terms of his television, mostly these days being an actor and playing in dramas, I don't see it getting affected too much. If he has loyal fandoms, those people are gonna stay there, and they, if not anything, they're gonna be even more standing behind their idols from now on. But for the people who really get affected and don't think they wanna, keep being a fan, obviously they have already left. For any future acting gigs he's gonna get in Dramaland, I don't think it's gonna be severely impacted. But if there are people who are, say, in cinema or in other potentially, right, can collaborate with him ways previously, this time afterwards, if they're casting for their shows, it's likely they're gonna think twice about this, because you want to minimize any types of risks. And CCTV, in my opinion, is not gonna keep talking about this thing anymore. It's never gonna come out and say exactly what happened backstage, whether they really think it's his fault or his not, and whatever. They're never gonna say it clearly. And also in future, right, whether they would ever be very clear about, like, we have a problem with you, we're not gonna pick you, probably they're never gonna say it. But you just need to sit there and see for the next 3-5 years to come whether he's gonna get invited back to any of this type of shows. If not, in kind of like, entertainment business is never short of this type of thing, and ultimately it's not a huge thing. It's nothing like, you've broken the law, you've taken drugs, you get incarcerated because you were like calling hookers and any type of that type of thing that will clearly cancel you out in Chinese dramaland. He's done nothing like that, so he's gonna be fine, I'm pretty sure. But overall, for his public reputation, this whole round of climbing up the Spring Mountain is definitely on the negative. In the next couple of 5 years to come, if anybody does anything that is considered by the public as show off and actually backfired on them, whatever form it takes, people are gonna immediately bring up Spring Mountain-ology. That's just something that's gonna stay with him for a long time to come. I know it sounds completely trivial to people who don't care about CCTV or like any of those. It's like, what? It's just a song and people walking on stage, and like, what's the big deal? Well, if we just check out China's in the social media, it is huge. I haven't seen anything like this, like a stage performance during Spring Festival that got this big, and CCTV definitely didn't see it coming. They probably never thought their Spring Festival gala show is gonna get hot. For this reason, they definitely are having meetings right now, retrospectively, looking back on all the things that have happened during this whole week. And I don't know, maybe somebody will have the genius idea about how to promote their show in the future. Bad publicity, good publicity. It's better than not having any publicity. That should be the end of this weekly video. If you already have read deep into Spring Mountain-ology, just like, you can discuss that in the comment section, but please don't fight over this. It's Chinese New Year still, the first 15 days, technically speaking. Let's just keep it warm and happy. Year of Dragon is going to be very tough on a lot of people. Don't start it right in such a way. Just make it as positive as possible. Please take care. I'll see you in my next video. Meanwhile, live long and happy.